Hey, hello everybody. Can you hear me? If a few of you can just give me a thumbs up or let me know that you can all hear me. Okay, sounds good, folks. You could all hear me. That's great. We're looking at the heliplots, the seismograms right now for this region. We're looking at the Aleutian Islands. You can see, I mean, it is completely black. And these are all up to date as of right now. Sorry about that. Let me turn this cell phone down. Well, we definitely have a serious situation, folks. No doubt about that. We're going to take a look at some more of these heliplots. You can see this earthquake is rocking the entire Earth. We're looking at New Mexico, Missouri, the College Outpost, Alaska, state of Oregon, felt it all the way in Florida, Texas, Massachusetts, Hawaii, South Dakota, Standing Stone, Pennsylvania, Arizona. A pretty big earthquake, folks. Magnitude 8.2 was the initial reading. I woke up minutes after this earthquake happened, and one of the first things I do, I check for earthquakes. And when I saw that, I was pretty amazed at the magnitude 8.2. Definitely there will be some threats of tsunamis. The region where this earthquake occurred, I mean, let's just face it, this is in a huge body of water. We're going to go ahead and pull up the USGS and just take a look at it. Well, it seems we just had another earthquake, so let's check it out. Let's see what's happening here. There's been a lot of aftershocks in this region. I'm going to go ahead and stop this globe for a minute. So I'm just removing some of the smaller magnitude earthquakes here so we can see the actual region where this earthquake occurred. And it's actually in a deeper part of the ocean in the Gulf of Alaska here. You can see this ridge right here, and then the water gets very, very deep from this point on. One of the only things that may stop a very large tsunami from crashing into the shoreline up here would be this ridge. But again, folks, just preliminary information coming in. This has just been little over an hour ago, so there's probably going to be a couple of hours before we get more detailed information on what's actually going on. For all the folks there on the West Coast in Alaska, I mean, literally, this was in the middle of the night. This is the worst time to have these earthquakes. People are sleeping, they're in bed, they don't have any idea what's happening. I mean, really, there's no good time or bad time to have the earthquake, but with all of these people being completely off guard, you know, let's just hope that there wasn't any type of severe damage to buildings and things of that nature. But magnitude 8.2, I was checking some of the reporting stations. They actually have the earthquake listed a little bit bigger. But you know how the USGS is. They're just constantly downgrading everything. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some smaller earthquakes here. And we could already see, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. You already see 1, 2, 3 earthquakes. These are on land already. Two small little aftershocks up here, magnitude 1.7, 1.5. Let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. Now, right here in the middle, we have a couple of magnitude 4.8. Wow, this is going to be a pretty devastating situation here, folks. I don't think we've heard the last of the action for today in this region. You know, folks, I was just on a live stream last night as a guest on another channel, and so was Dr. Albers. Dr. Albers was a special guest on a live stream with Wayne Steiger. And, you know, we talk about these earthquakes all the time. You know, a lot of people dismiss the fact that, you know, we are seeing considerable seismic increases over the past couple of years. 2016 was a pretty active year. 2017, a little bit more active. And already going into the first 2/3 of January, in the beginning of 2018, we're already seeing a considerable increase with high magnitude 6s, 7s, and now this magnitude 8.2. What really pisses me off is that, you know, immediately the seismic devices categorize this earthquake as a magnitude 8.2. But in order to keep the statistics down and low, the USGS, you know, they get a hold of their computers. They're over there rushing. Oh, we got to downgrade it. We got to downgrade it to a 7.9. You know, ladies and gentlemen, let's be realistic here. I mean, yeah, there may be a little bit of a difference in damage from a 7.9 to an 8.2, but let's just call it what it is. It's a massive earthquake. People's lives are at stake. You know, many, many moons ago, there was a very, very large earthquake. I believe it was in this region that sent a 100-foot wall of water blazing through one of these bays. There were 2 fishermen in a boat that survived that earthquake and that tsunami. And I heard their story. I heard their testimony. It must have been, you know, the scariest moment of your life to see a 100-foot wall of water coming at you while you are just aimlessly, you know, floating in your boat. So, you know, we really can't take this situation lightly at this moment. Geographically, where this earthquake occurred, you know, there's potential for serious issues, serious problems. If you don't think that this tsunami can reach the shores of Japan, you better think again. You know, I mean, we don't have any real reports coming in of this tsunami yet. But the last thing that we would need is, you know, this huge flooding situation over there at Fukushima dumping more of that crap into the Pacific Ocean. So it will take some time for this tsunami to make its way through the Pacific Ocean. But geographically, where it's located, I mean, this has the potential to, reach the shores of Northern California, Washington, Oregon. And I mean, you all know what Seattle, Washington looks like, and all of those inlets and all of those bays. I mean, this can definitely cause some instantaneous flooding, unexpected. So, I'm going to try to gather as much more information as I possibly can. But initially, magnitude 8.2, several magnitude 5.0 aftershocks. And I don't think we've heard the last of the action, the seismic action occurring in this region today. I mean, I was pretty surprised at the 8.2. Just the other day, I was mentioning all of the seismic activity in Alaska. Once again, just spreading through a very, very specific area up through the south, all the way to the north in the state. And let's just thank God that this magnitude 8.2 did not actually occur on land, like for instance in Anchorage, because there are a lot of people that live in that area. So, once again, I'm going to keep on digging and see what I can find. Right now we have mainstream media. Oh, wow, they gave this story 30 seconds. Do you believe that? 30 seconds of airtime. A magnitude 8.2 with a tsunami behind it. And that's all that they care about. Give it 30 seconds. Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about the Schumer shutdown. Complete garbage from mainstream media. This is why people like myself, Dutch Sense, BP Earthwatch, Mr. MBB333, I mean, this is why we do this, because we can't trust mainstream media. They're scum. In an important situation like this, we are relying on our cell phones and our computers to gather this information. I looked at my cell phone and it was all lit up with tsunami warnings, the earthquake warning, and I barely opened up my eyes and looked at my phone and I had all of these warnings pop up. Turn on my computers, get things moving, and bingo, here we go. Tuesday morning, magnitude 8.2 earthquake strikes in the Gulf of Alaska. We'll go ahead and see if we could find some additional information brewing here. Well, here's what's popping already. Magnitude 4.1, 4.4, 4.6, 5.0, 4.5, 4.2, 4.8, 4.2, 4.6, 4.7. Well, you can see there is a considerable swarm of earthquakes. And then let's see here, a couple of earthquakes here. Magnitude 3.1, 3.8, 2.5. I mean, you can see there's Anchorage. All of this water, if there is a tsunami and this water gets up into the Cook Inlet, this narrows down. This water will rush into there. It will flood the entire region. Sounds like there was another earthquake. Let's go ahead and check and see where that's popping off at. Another 4.4 right there. Wow, these earthquakes are really popping in that region. I'm going to try to find some additional information with So bear with me here. I believe, let's see here. This is coming out of Reuters. Let's see what they have to say real quick. Tsunami alert issued for West Coast, magnitude 7.9 magnitude, downgraded by the USGS. So far it says Hawaii is in the clear. A magnitude 7.9 earthquake hit the Gulf of Alaska in the early hours of Tuesday morning, prompting warnings of possible tsunami down the Canadian coast and the U.S. West Coast. Hawaii is no longer considered at risk from a possible tsunami that could be generated by this powerful quake. The Pacific Tsunami Warning System or Center, that's what they stated. Let's move down here real quick. The U.S. Geologic Survey, USGS, downgraded the quake. It was initially measured at a magnitude 8.2, hit around 250 kilometers, 160 miles deep. Or excuse me, sorry about that. 8.2, 250 kilometers, 160 miles southeast of Shinilak, Alaska, at a depth of 25 kilometers. Very, very shallow, folks. Very shallow. It says the Japan's meteorological agency said it was monitoring the situation but did not issue a tsunami alert. I actually have a link to this this Japanese government site. It's very, very good site. They have satellite radars. They list all the information for earthquakes, volcanoes, things of that nature, but it's only for their country. So we could actually see this alert that's gone out right here. Let's check this out. National Tsunami Warning Center. Wow. Here you go. Within 3 hours, here's the position. Within 6 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours. I mean, folks, a lot of people downplay these tsunamis and the power of tsunamis from these earthquakes. I'm sure this is just like a preliminary scale report, but you can see how far the reaches of a magnitude 8.2 earthquake, how far this can generate this tsunami. So maybe within the next 2 hours, we may be getting some reports in from Canada, Washington, specifically Seattle, Oregon, and the north coast of California. Also in the region right here of Russia, and also Japan. Very interesting. Get back to this report real quick. Nope, that's all they have. You know, see that, folks? This is mainstream media, CNBC. You know, I mean, this is all that they have right now. Let's jump back and see if we can catch some more information that's coming up here. Los Angeles Times. Not much of anything. Same information. Yeah, they don't have very much either. Yeah, very, very early. Let me see something here. Let's see if we could catch any video information that's come in. This is ABC 13 Eyewitness News. Where is this coming out of? is this support flash crap? I have flash pro. Oh my God. Once again, same preliminary information, downgraded by the USGS, as always, from a magnitude 8.2 to 7.9. Trying to find some additional information on this.
That was not the wake-up call they were expecting. This is a Fox News alert. Millions of Americans on high alert at this moment under tsunami warnings at this hour after a powerful 7.9 earthquake rocked Alaska, as you can see, to the south and to the east of Kodiak, Alaska.
The powerful shock striking in the middle of the night. Local reporters saying emergency crews fear that lives are now at stake, and they're urging everyone to get to higher ground.
You got brand new video showing lines of cars. Can you see that through the night? People trying to escape the wave of fear. The entire West Coast, Hawaii, parts of Canada, all under tsunami watches at this hour. We understand if you're in the southern part of Alaska, they're saying get to a higher ground.
Or the northwest coast of the United States as well.
Sure. This struck less than an hour ago, and so, you know, they do the math, and they say that waves should start to appear. The question is, how high will the waves be? There is one report that one of the ocean buoys about 100 and some miles away from Alaska did just recently have a 35-foot wave.
I think for Americans, we hear tsunami and it takes us back. Do you remember the supermodel Petra that was involved in the tsunami? Was that in Indonesia years ago? Thailand, and so it reminds us of that and scares us to death. So I'm glad these folks are listening to the warnings and getting out. Except for the guy who's videotaping this, looks like he's going the wrong way.
So the minute this happened, quickly on Fox and Friends, first we went to Janice Steen. Janice Steen's been working this to find out the latest and where the danger might lie. Janice, what can you tell us?
It's going to take some time, and obviously the reports are going to be coming in minute by minute. But what I can tell you is that
the volume is all the way up.
This is a very large earthquake, and Alaska is no stranger to earthquakes or tsunamis. They've had 4 of them in the past. So this is what we're dealing with. This is actual information that we are getting right now. So this is the earthquake that we were talking about. It was at one point 8.2. They have downgraded to 7.9, 173 miles southeast of Chiniak, Alaska. The depth is 6 miles. And a 7.9 earthquake is strong, although the biggest earthquake that they've ever had was in 1964, and that one was their largest ever, measured at 9.2. So although this is a big earthquake, they have seen and experienced larger earthquakes. 130 lives were lost because of that earthquake and the tsunami. As you mentioned, we have tsunami watches and warnings all up and down the coast, from Alaska's coastline down towards British Columbia, extending all the way south towards Southern California. So this is an extensive tsunami watch that extends all the way down towards Los Angeles, getting information minute by minute. But as we look back in history, again, Alaska, no stranger to earthquakes or tsunami watches or warnings. This was their biggest one, 9.2 magnitude.
Hey, I want to stop it right there, folks. Let's take a look at these earthquakes. Number 1, Prince William Sound, March 28, 1964, magnitude 9.2. Rat Islands, February 4th, 1965, magnitude 8.7. The Andronoff Islands, March 9th, 1957, magnitude 8.6. 8.2, November 10th, 1938. Shumagan Islands, Unimak Islands, April 1st, 1946, 8.1. Folks, do you see what the USGS just did? I mean, this earthquake came in at a magnitude 8.2. It would have tied for number 4 on their scale, the top 5 biggest earthquakes in this region. But I looked at reporting stations that these devices, they have this earthquake higher than an 8.2. There are 8.6, 8.7, 8.5. So they immediately downgraded to this 7.9 to keep it out of the top 5. But I don't understand what the significance is. What are they trying to prove? You know, they're going to keep a magnitude 8.2 or 8.6. You know, whatever it was, those reporting stations, those seismic devices, they record the magnitude of the damn earthquakes. So the USGS, I mean, to me, they're nothing but scum at this point in time. To downgrade this earthquake, to keep it out of the top 5. You're witnessing it with your own eyes right now. You know, Fox News doing a great job. They're the only ones right now that are reporting good information on this earthquake. All of the other mainstream media, you know, they have their head into politics right now. But let's listen to a little bit more of what she has to say.
That's talking about where they lost 131 lives. So when we talk about magnitude, 8 or higher is a great earthquake. Now that it has been downgraded to 7.9, that's a major earthquake. We don't know how high the waves are going to be, but people are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California. This is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you.
Hey, folks, I want to go ahead and back up here a little bit in some of her charts that she had here. And once again, you know, we can see the sadistic thinking of the USGS. Now, I'm going to repeat myself once again. I looked at all of the initial reporting stations for this earthquake. There are many of the reporting stations and the seismic devices that have this earthquake way over a magnitude 7.9, over a magnitude 8.2. So you can see, based on this scale, magnitude, and classification, 8 plus, great. 7 to 7.9, major. 6 to 6.9, strong. 5 to 5.9, moderate, and so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and we're going to let that play one more time.
Are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So
we have here their annual averages, 8 plus. We have 1 a year, 7 to 7.9, 15, an annual average, worldwide frequencies since the year 1900. Wow. Magnitude 6 to 6.9, 134 of these earthquakes. This is an annual average. Magnitude 6 to 5, what is this, 5.9? She's kind of blocking my way there. 1,319. Yeah, this is some pretty big news, folks. Let's continue to listen.
Here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California. This is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you.
Hey, folks, real quick, I want to try to get back to the part of the map where she had the tsunami warning map up. Let me see if I could catch it here real quick.
they have seen and experienced larger earthquakes. 130 lives were lost because of that earthquake and the tsunami. As you mentioned, we have tsunami watches and warnings all up and down the coast, from Alaska's coastline down towards British Columbia, extending all the way south towards Southern California. So this is an extensive tsunami watch that extends all the way down towards Los Angeles, getting information minute by minute. But as we look back in history, again, Alaska, no stranger to earthquakes or tsunami watches or warnings. This was their biggest one, 9.2 magnitude. That's talking about where they lost 131 lives. So when we talk about magnitude, 8 or higher is a great earthquake. Now that it has been downgraded to 7.9, that's a major earthquake. We don't know how high the waves are going to be, but people are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but to see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California, this is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you.
That was not the wake-up call they...
Hey folks, bear with me 1 second here real quick. Let's get into, let's take a look at this coronal hole. I'm going to move over to the SDO real quick. Just give me a minute. This is our current situation right now with our sun. We did have a pretty good plasma release, a filament release yesterday, and I made a short little high definition video of it. But let's just take a look at our sun right now. This is the current 48-hour SDO loop. This is in the 211 angstrom extreme ultraviolet light, and you can see, folks, I mean, wow, this is really getting bad. This is the first time this morning I have looked at the SDO. You can see the massive coronal hole. Now, it's not wide and large, but it is streaking all the way across. If you watch very closely in this region here, all through this region, you can literally see the corona of the sun dissipating, moving away. This has probably been occurring for more than 24 hours. All of the heavily charged particles from the sun, you know, folks, it takes, some people say, 2 days, 3 days for this solar energy to make its way towards the Earth. You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how anybody could actually calculate that, but if scientists say that, that's what it is. I don't agree with it. But right now, I think we may be in for some large earthquakes or increased seismic activity for the rest of today and probably for the next several days. I mean, you can see for yourself right now, you can literally see the corona of the sun dissipating, and we're seeing that real dark black region underneath the corona. And now all of that solar energy is now escaping the sun and heading directly towards the Earth. And you're seeing it with your own eyes right here. I'm not making it up. This is what is happening. You know, folks, over the last 2 years, you know, myself and many others have warned of these situations. They're going to continue to get worse. There's just no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. The situations are going to get worse. We're moving into the point right now where, you know, you may think that where you live, you're safe. But right now, folks, I don't think that there is any place on this planet that is not being affected by something, by very, very strange weather, very cold temperatures, very hot temperatures, you know, oceans receding, bays receding, and now the earthquake situation is brewing. And we just had a couple of pretty serious volcanic eruptions. That Menon volcano blew its stack, spewing ash, you know, 30,000 feet into the atmosphere, evacuations everywhere. Now evacuations in areas of Alaska because of this earthquake. Things are really, really starting to peak. So that was a current look right now at the SDO, and the situation does not look good. I mean, it does not look good at all. I'm going to jump out of here for 1 second. I'm going to check on something else real quick, so just bear with me. Well, there was a pretty good right here on our solar proton flux. We could see a pretty good spike right there. Everything seemed to be very, very normal. That might have been that spike that we saw yesterday, that filament release. Yeah, that's on the 22nd. That may be the spike there. Just bear with me, folks. I'm just trying to look at some initial information here real quick. This is the solar wind predictor model. And again, this is just a prediction model. And let's back this up real quick. We're looking at about right here. Now you can see the Earth was moving. The Earth was moving through one of these solar streams right here. If you follow my cursor, this is the Earth right here. I'm going to move the slider myself, and you can see the Earth was in a pretty good stream of solar energy, but you know, it doesn't seem like it was something that would be that intense. And then if you look from the 23rd, we see everything from the plasma density. It just flatlines. Now, that might be a good thing. However, the radial velocity, the velocity it's spiking. That's not a good thing right here, folks. That means the increase of the solar wind will go from about 400 kilometers per second to probably anywhere between 700, 800, 900 kilometers per second, getting into the 1 million miles per hour. Looks like this is going to be a steady flow streaming towards the Earth from the 22nd, 23rd, all the way through the 28th. The predictor model ends midday on January 28th. So once again, folks, you know, this is going to be something that we're going to have to watch very closely. There's just no doubt about it. This is going to be an extremely trying time over the next couple of days. You know, very weird weather also, folks. You know, I'm in the Pittsburgh area. Yesterday, I had a recorded temperature of 65 degrees in the third week of January in the Northeast, southwestern Pennsylvania. 65 degrees. Yeah, very intense situation. And take a quick look at the GOES solar X-ray. We can see this region right here where my cursor is. That was the region that I've been watching for the last couple of days, actually almost a week now. This was the region where they had the filament release. Okay, we're going to jump out of NOAA here for a second. Well, it seems to be some more earthquakes are starting to pile up as far as aftershocks in this region. Looking at a magnitude 5.0, magnitude 4.6, magnitude 4.4, magnitude 5.6, and here we go with the magnitude 7.9 that the USGS downgraded. I'm going to check in. Let's see if the tsunami reports are coming in. Oh, well, that's just nice. It looks like the tsunami site crashed. Look at that. Let's try this again. Well, it looks like the government tsunami site has crashed. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now they have it as a tsunami advisory at this point. Earthquake location was 175 miles southeast of Kodiak City, Alaska, magnitude 7.9, depth 12 miles. Latest advisory. Just give me a second, let me read this. It says, updates, a tsunami has been confirmed and some impacts are expected. Tsunami advisory in effect for South Alaska and the Alaska Peninsula, Pacific coasts from Hinchinbrook Entrance, Alaska, 90 miles east of Seward to Chignik Bay, Alaska. It says here that tsunami watch has been canceled for the coastal areas of California, Oregon, Washington, and the California-Mexico border. Tsunami warnings have been canceled for the coastal areas of British Columbia, Southeast Alaska, South Alaska, and the Alaskan Peninsula, from Washington to the British Columbia border. Tsunami warning is canceled for the coastal areas of South Alaska, Alaska Peninsula, Aleutian Islands. So there were some small observations of tsunami height. Not very much, less than a foot. It's kind of strange for a magnitude 7.9. Very shallow, only 12 miles deep. So I guess this was one of the areas here where they had a bulletin for tsunami alert. Down over here in this area, the northern part of the Aleutian Islands. Yeah, it seems that their website's having some problems. They're probably getting inundated with people trying to gather some information on this. Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and play this this Fox report in case there's anybody that's just come into the live chat. We're going to go ahead and replay this this Fox News alert.
That was not the wake-up call they were expecting. This is a Fox News alert. Millions of Americans on high alert at this moment under tsunami warnings at this hour after a powerful 7.9 earthquake rocked Alaska, as you can see, to the south and to the east of Kodiak, Alaska.
The powerful shock striking in the middle of the night. Local reporters saying emergency crews fear that lives are now at stake, and they're urging everyone to get to higher ground.
You got brand new video showing lines of cars. Can you see that through the night? People trying to escape the wave of fear. The entire West Coast, Hawaii, parts of Canada, all under tsunami watches at this hour. We understand if you're in the southern part of Alaska, they're saying get to a higher ground.
Or the northwest coast of the United States as well.
Sure. This struck less than an hour ago, and so, you know, they do the math and they say that waves should start to appear. The question is, how high will the waves be? There is one report that one of the ocean buoys about 100 and some miles away from Alaska did just recently have a 35-foot wave.
I think for Americans, we hear tsunami and it takes us back. Do you remember the supermodel Petra that was involved in the tsunami? Was that in Indonesia years ago? Thailand. And so it reminds us of that and scares us to death. So I'm glad these folks are listening to the warnings and getting out. Except for the guy who's videotaping this, looks like he's going the wrong way.
So the minute this happened, quickly on Fox and Friends, first I went to Janice Dean. Janice Dean's been working this to find out the latest and where the danger might lie. Janice, what can you tell us?
It's going to take some time, and obviously the reports are going to be coming in minute by minute. But what I can tell you is that this is a very large earthquake, and Alaska is no stranger to earthquakes or tsunamis. They've had 4 of them in the past. So this is what we're dealing with. This is actual information that we are getting right now. So this is the earthquake that we were talking about. It was at one point 8.2. They have downgraded to 7.9, 173 miles southeast of Chiniak, Alaska. The depth is 6 miles, and a 7.9 earthquake is strong, although Alaska's the biggest earthquake that they've ever had was in 1964, and that one was their largest ever, measured at 9.2. So although this is a big earthquake, they have seen and experienced larger earthquakes. 130 lives were lost because of that earthquake and the tsunami. As you mentioned, we have tsunami watches and warnings all up and down the coast, from Alaska's coastline down towards British Columbia, extending all the way south towards Southern California. So this is an extensive tsunami watch that extends all the way down towards Los Angeles, getting information minute by minute. But as we look back in history, again, Alaska, no stranger to earthquakes or tsunami watches or warnings. This was their biggest one, 9.2 magnitude. That's talking about where they lost 131 lives. So when we talk about magnitude, 8 or higher is a great earthquake. Now that it has been downgraded to 7.9, that's a major earthquake. We don't know how high the waves are going to be, but people are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but to see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California, this is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you.
All right, JD.
All right, folks. Well, that was the initial and latest report from Fox News. I'm going to go ahead and pull up another earthquake map here, and let's see if any more action has occurred in this area. Wow. Latest aftershocks, magnitude 5.6. Let's check the depth of some of these. About 24 kilometers deep for this magnitude 5.6. 43 minutes ago. 56 minutes ago, magnitude 4.4. Pretty close to the same depth. Magnitude 5. 53 minutes ago. Depth 13 kilometers. Yeah, it seems to be that there is a pretty good seismic event occurring right here in the Alaskan Gulf. Just check and see if anything else is occurring over here. 5 hours ago, Java, Indonesia, magnitude 6, depth 68 kilometers. On the other end, Solomon Islands, magnitude 5.5. That's decently deep there, 171 kilometers. Small earthquake off the coast of Australia, magnitude 2.4. Tajikistan, let's see here, magnitude 4.6. Again, very shallow. Iran, shallow earthquake, magnitude 4.7, 8 hours ago. South of South Africa, the tip of South Africa, magnitude 4.9, depth 10 kilometers deep. Off the coast of South America, 9 hours ago, magnitude 5. Hawaii, magnitude 3.72. Let's zoom into California a little bit here. Magnitude 2.8. Swarm of earthquakes north of San Francisco. Let's dig into this a little bit here. This is in this geyser area, magnitude 2.91. Very, very shallow. Very shallow. Wow, folks, I would say that is definitely one hell of an earthquake swarm. We just had an update here, so let's see what happens. Same quakes. Bear with me 1 second, folks, here. I'm going to check something on our weather. Very warm temperatures in the Gulf of Alaska. I mean, you're looking at the current temperature readings right now as we speak. 7:30 in the morning. Very, very warm temperatures. You know, you really wouldn't think that you would see these types of warm temperatures. I'm going to go ahead and move this. It's all above freezing. Even in this area. It's rather warm temperatures for this region of Alaska. It looks like this region over here, they're getting battered with a system. This is the wind model that we're looking at right now. I'm going to go ahead and jump up to the actual jet stream real quick, so just bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and let this play out for a minute, folks. You can see this is identifying our jet stream. Pretty erratic. This is over the next couple of days. Well, it looks like the situation is going to get a little bleak for the folks over in Ireland, Scotland, the UK, possibly even France once again, Portugal, Spain, eastern coast of Africa possibly. Definitely looks like some systems rolling through Central America, parts of Mexico. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to our temperature. I'm going to let this run out. Watch very closely, ladies and gentlemen, what's occurring right here in the 2/3 of the United States right here as this polar vortex keeps dipping down. But you're going to notice some extremely warm temperatures. This is going into Friday and Saturday of this week. So it looks like in the days to come and the week to come, this whole entire area of the United States, it's going to be some up and down roller coaster weather events occurring all through this region. It looks like the northeast from Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, extreme northeast, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. They'll get some weather up here. But these are pretty extreme situations that are occurring right here in this piece of the United States. That takes us out all the way to February 1st. We'll take a look at the actual snow, precipitation. It's a pretty good system moving in right here into the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon. That's going to blow right through Northern California, right through Idaho. And once again, folks, just extreme weather everywhere. I want to check some temperatures once again in Australia. I have a lot of subscribers in Australia. They've been emailing me and sending me messages about the extreme heat conditions in Australia. And yes, we do realize that it is summertime, folks, but they have been constantly, since the turn of the seasons, just a few weeks into their summer months, extreme temperatures. I mean, 113 degrees, yeah, I'd have to call that extreme. This is pretty much in the central locations, but if we just take a look right over here on the coast, I mean, that's 113 degrees. And that's at 2 o'clock in the morning, their time. Very extreme conditions. 115 degrees. Wow. Hottest place on the planet, ladies and gentlemen, Australia. Like I said, I have a few subscribers down that way, and they've been telling me that the conditions are just unbearable, and it's also a big strain on their electrical service. So when you get extreme situations like that, you're putting severe and intense pressure on the electrical systems, and you are going to have failures. It happened last year. Probably going to happen again this year. I'm going to go ahead one more time and put this report up from Fox News to give you the quick update. This is the only update that I have seen on mainstream media that is of any significance. Pretty much mainstream media is ignoring this event. The USGS downgraded this earthquake from the initial 8.2 down to a 7.9. As you watch this news report, once again, you will see why they downgraded it. Because this earthquake as an 8.2 would have been in the top 5 of the largest earthquakes recorded in this region since 1900. Let's watch this report one more time.
That was not the wake-up call they were expecting. This is a Fox News alert. Millions of Americans on high alert at this moment under tsunami warnings at this hour after a powerful 7.9 earthquake rocked Alaska, as you can see, to the south and to the east of Kodiak, Alaska.
The powerful shock striking in the middle of the night. Local reporters saying emergency crews fear that lives are now at stake, and they're urging everyone to get to higher ground.
You got brand new video showing lines of cars. Can you see that through the night? People trying to escape the wave of fear. The entire West Coast, Hawaii, parts of Canada, all under tsunami watches at this hour. We understand if you're in the southern part of Alaska, they're saying get to a higher ground.
Or the northwest coast of the United States as well.
Sure. This struck less than an hour ago, and so, you know, they do the math and they say that waves should start to appear. The question is, how high will the waves be? There is one report that one of the ocean buoys about 100 and some miles away from Alaska did just recently have a 35-foot wave.
I think for Americans, we hear tsunami and it takes us back. Do you remember the supermodel Petra that was involved in the tsunami? Was that in Indonesia years ago? Thailand, and so it reminds us of that and scares us to death. So I'm glad these folks are listening to the warnings and getting out. Except for the guy who's videotaping this, looks like he's going the wrong way.
So the minute this happened, quickly on Fox and Friends, first we went to Janice Dean. Janice Dean's been working this to find out the latest and where the danger might lie. Janice, what can you tell us?
It's going to take some time, and obviously the reports are going to be coming in minute by minute. But what I can tell you is that this is a very large earthquake, and Alaska is no stranger to earthquakes or tsunamis. They've had 4 of them in the past. So this is what we're dealing with. This is actual information that we are getting right now. So this is the earthquake that we were talking about. It was at one point 8.2. They have downgraded to 7.9, 173 miles southeast of Chiniak, Alaska. The depth is 6 miles. And a 7.9 earthquake is strong, although the biggest earthquake that they've ever had was in 1964, and that one was their largest ever, measured at 9.2. So although this is a big earthquake, they have seen and experienced larger earthquakes. 130 lives were lost because of that earthquake and the tsunami. As you mentioned, we have tsunami watches and warnings all up and down the coast, from Alaska's coastline down towards British Columbia, extending all the way south towards Southern California. So this is an extensive tsunami watch that extends all the way down towards Los Angeles, getting information minute by minute. But as we look back in history, again, Alaska, no stranger to earthquakes or tsunami watches or warnings. This was their biggest one, 9.2 magnitude. That's talking about where they lost 131 lives. So when we talk about magnitude, 8 or higher is a great earthquake. Now that it has been downgraded to 7.9, that's a major earthquake. We don't know how high the waves are going to be, but people are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but to see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California, this is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you.
Okay, folks, I'm seeing that a lot of the initial tsunami warnings have been lifted. They're on basically like a tsunami watch. Usually in an earthquake situation like this, let me pan out here a little bit. This is the region that we're looking at. They issued that tsunami warning a little more than an hour ago. Now, the only thing that I could think, folks, there's different types of earthquakes. There's this slip between two fault lines, and there's an uplift. An uplift of the sea floor. Now, that would definitely cause a substantial tsunami. Any type of an uplifting earthquake will create that large tsunami. If they are canceling these tsunami warnings, then this was what they referred to, as a side-by-side. Two plates slipping together side by side, not an uplift. Again, it's very, very early with all of this information. If they are canceling these tsunami warnings, that is a very, very good sign, because if this was any type of an uplift of the sea floor, by now that tsunami, that would be impacting those coastal regions and these islands right off the coast right here. So, we kind of go by what they're saying. Let's hope they're right. I find it very, very suspicious that they have lifted the warnings, but the current situation is still under watch. Just going to go ahead and just add some of this information to this screen. "28 minutes ago, magnitude 4.5, depth of only 10 kilometers. Now, this region seems to be in some very, very high activity. Wow. Magnitude 4.5, 10 kilometers. Magnitude 4.1, 10 kilometers deep. Wow. This is all occurring right now, right off the coast of the Kodiak Island region of Alaska. I'll pan out so you can see exactly where it is. You never know, folks. There might be another major earthquake here. Right now, these are all aftershocks that are occurring. Magnitude in the low to mid 4s. And, once again, you can see the string of earthquakes. They consistently rise from this area, and they stretch up into the middle part of the state. We'll pull up the USGS, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what the last 7 days of earthquakes have been in this country. Now, I was mentioning a situation the other day, and I drew a little graph on this map. This is something that I've been seeing now for quite some time. Probably the last year and a half. And this entire region, if you follow my cursor, each and every week, you will see this string of earthquakes that makes this, kind of an arch from the Canadian border here in Montana and Idaho, all the way past Yellowstone, through Wyoming, through Utah, and all the way down to the Los Angeles and San Diego area. Ladies and gentlemen, probably by looking at the lay of the land, and I'm going to go ahead and change the map so I can show you what I mean. If you just take a look at this region, and this is the line of earthquakes that I'm referring to, from here all the way down, every single week, if you go to the USGS, you pull up all magnitude earthquakes for a 7-day period. Every single week for the last year, you will see this arching pattern of these earthquakes stretching from the Canadian-U.S. border all the way down past Yellowstone, all the way down into San Diego and Southern California, Los Angeles, Southern California. And I mean, you can see all of these earthquakes right here, all along the San Andreas Fault. Now, they're smaller earthquakes, and yes, we know it's California, blah, 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 blah. But sooner or later, folks, this area is going to give. Last year and already this year, the USGS has come out with, again, another one of their reports saying that this region of California, specifically around Ventura, California, is going to be susceptible to a magnitude 7.8 earthquake on land. Well, a 7.8 or 8.0 earthquake on land in this region of Southern California, Ventura, will be devastating. This is the second year in a row that they have issued this warning. But if you look at the lay of the land, I mean, you can see this area is it's just basically a wasteland. And this is probably due to the last volcanic eruption at Yellowstone, basically decimating this entire area, turning it into a wasteland. I've been studying this for many, many years. I've been trying to gather as much information as I can over the years about this Yellowstone region. And it just seems over the past 2 years, things concerning Yellowstone have become hush, hush. You know, just, what was it, 2 weeks ago, there were some concerns about Mount St. Helens again. You know, 90 earthquakes detected in the core of the volcano. I mean, that is alarming, especially if you live in this region. And if any of you were alive and, you know, maybe teenagers or young adults when Mount St. Helens blew, that was absolutely devastating. I remember it as a kid. An earthquake right here in this Juan de Fuca region, magnitude 3.2 off the coast of Oregon. This was back on the 16th, but that was right on the fault line. So as you pan back and you just take a look, I'll get to Alaska in a second. But if you just take a look at the last 7 days of earthquakes, you can see it with your own eyes where this active region is. And it's encompassing this entire region of Yellowstone. They're not occurring in Yellowstone. They're occurring all the way around the entire caldera. You know, some people may beg to differ, but what I'm looking at and what I've been looking at for the last 2 years is confirming that there is considerable seismic activity in and around the Yellowstone region. I mean, can you only imagine if there was a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake near the Yellowstone region? I mean, that would be very, very alarming. We've already seen considerably large earthquakes through Mexico, the southern tip of the peninsula, all the way down through Central America. And once again, just polluting the entire western coast of South America. So again, folks, I mean, let's just take a look at our 7-day map for the entire globe. The earthquakes listed in yellow, those are, you know, anywhere from 2 days to 7 days old. The orange or golder color right here, this would be within the last 24 hours, and the red would be within the last hour. So you can see this earthquake right here, Mid-Atlantic Ridge, magnitude 5.0, very, very shallow. Over the course of the last 2 years, we've seen a considerable amount of earthquakes on this fault line, running all the way up through the Atlantic Ocean. Let's go ahead and move into Alaska. Now you can see, oh my, here you go. I mean, just take a look at the last 7 days of seismic activity in the state of Alaska, from the Aleutian Islands all the way up. Small earthquake up here, only a magnitude 1.4, but still, just take a look at the amount of earthquakes. This is the current earthquake swarm that is now forming in the Gulf of Alaska. Let's check and see the intensity, see if we get any more information on this. I'm going to check this Alaskan earthquake center. Well, figures, nothing. Okay, folks, you know, here, I mean, this is just a prime example of what I was referring to earlier when I was looking at the reporting stations. And again, you know, they are so quick to downgrade this earthquake below a magnitude 8. But let's just take a look at the reporting stations and the channels. Let's just take a look at this, because this is important. This shows you the deception of this seismic government agency. Right here, magnitude 8.31, magnitude 7.99, magnitude 8.07, 8.3, 8.29, 8.09, 8.31, 8.26, 8.05, 8.11, magnitude 7.97, 8.04, 8.35, 8.05, 8.19, 8.12, 8.10, 8.10, 8.01, 8.09, 8.33, 8.06, 8.11. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic. How many of you see more seismic devices showing a reading higher than a 7.9? Magnitude 8.24, 8.41, 8.0, 8.18, 8.6, or 8.06, 8.07, 8.08. Where in the hell is the USGS getting their downgraded data? I mean, for God's sakes, folks, these are the actual channels, the seismic devices recording the information and broadcasting it back to the USGS. Where in the hell are they getting the downgraded 7.9? This is really starting to piss me off. Magnitude 8.3, 7.94, 8.13, 8.30. It just goes on and on. 8.61, 8.19, 8.08. It just goes on and on. And I am not even, I'm not even 25% of the way through this list. 8.23, 8.15, 8.27. I mean, let's face it, folks. How many of you are seeing an 8.0 or higher earthquake listing in front of your eyes. You're seeing just as many 8.0 plus readings as you are 7.5 and higher. So again, my point is, where in the hell do they get off putting this at a 7.9 when clearly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this information is showing that this earthquake was a hell of a lot larger than their downgraded 7.9. And if you go back to the Fox report, and we'll go back to it, they show you the top 5 earthquakes, the seismic events since 1900. If they would have listed this as the initial 8.2, it would have put this earthquake back in the top 5. What in the hell are they doing at the USGS? Look at this. 8.08, 8.12, 8.36, 8.12, 8.1, 8.1, 8.17. I mean, what the... My God. Look at this. 8.46. This is an off reading right here. 3.16. I don't know exactly where this this device and this channel is listed, where it's actually located. 8.12, 8.26. Folks, do you see my point? Wow, this is just absolutely disgusting. Oh, well, here you go, folks. No amplitudes contributed for this magnitude. Now, whenever you look under this detail and you see this green check mark, this green check mark is the data that they are using. They used for their downgrade. Now, we were using this data right here that came in and downgraded to a 7.8. When you click on it, you see all the data. You see that? Click on the details. Oh, there's the data. But you don't see any green check mark there, do you? You see a green check mark right there because this is the data that they used for the downgrading. Look, when you click on details, nothing, zero, zilch, nada. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach. This is just disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot even rely on a seismic office that should be doing their job, not hiding information. You know, there are people's lives at stake. They need the correct information. You downgrade this earthquake just to keep it out of the top 5. Wow, what a bunch of pukes over at the USGS. I hope they're listening to me right now. Because if you guys are listening to me over at the USGS, you guys are a bunch of pukes. You all should be fired. Absolutely, absolutely disgusting, folks. I mean, you can see the data for yourself. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Give me a second here. I'll put this link in the description box. In the chat. No, not the description box. Sorry, I'm a little upset right now. I'll put that link in there. You guys go there and you check it out. You check it out for yourself. You see the deception. This is really, really just absolutely insane. And I'm glad we're documenting it right now on this live feed on my YouTube channel, and we are proving beyond a shadow of a doubt the USGS is deceiving people. Absolutely disgusting. We're going to go back real quick once again, folks, for anybody new popping in. This was the initial Fox News report. It was the best one that was out there on mainstream media, because the rest of those pukes in mainstream media, all they're busy on reporting is, you know, this crap about Donald Trump and the government shutdown, which should have never occurred. But the tsunami warnings have been lifted. There are some areas that are still under a tsunami watch. And just watch very carefully when the Fox meteorologist, Janice Dean, whenever she goes over the charts, talking about where this earthquake would have been listed in the top 5. But because they downgraded it, it is no longer up there in the top 5 earthquakes in this region since 1900. Now we see the motives of this government agency. They call themselves Americans. They're pukes. Let's take a look and listen to this once again. Remember, the tsunami warnings and watches have been lifted as far as NOAA goes. But again, folks, a lot of preliminary information coming in. Let's take a watch at the, take a listen to the Fox News report.
That was not the wake-up call they were expecting. This is a Fox News alert. Millions of Americans on high alert at this moment under tsunami warnings at this hour after a powerful 7.9 earthquake rocked Alaska, as you can see, to the south and to the east of Kodiak, Alaska.
The powerful shock striking in the middle of the night. Local reporters saying emergency crews fear that lives are now at stake, and they're urging everyone to get to higher ground.
You got brand new video showing lines of cars. Can you see that through the night? People trying to escape the wave of fear. The entire West Coast, Hawaii, parts of Canada, all under tsunami watches at this hour. We understand if you're in the southern part of Alaska, they're saying get to a higher ground.
Or the northwest coast of the United States as well.
This struck less than an hour ago, and so, you know, they do the math and they say that waves should start to appear. The question is, how high will the waves be? There is one report that one of the ocean buoys about 100 and some miles away from Alaska did just recently have a 35-foot wave.
I think for Americans, we hear tsunami and it takes us back. Do you remember the supermodel Petra that was involved in the tsunami? Was that in Indonesia years ago? Thailand, and so it reminds us of that and scares us to death. So I'm glad these folks are listening to the warnings and getting out. Except for the guy who's videotaping this, looks like he's going the wrong way.
So the minute this happened, quickly on Fox and Friends, first we went to Janice Dean. Janice Dean's been working this to find out the latest and where the danger might lie. Janice, what can you tell us?
It's going to take some time, and obviously the reports are going to be coming in minute by minute. But what I can tell you is that this is a very large earthquake, and Alaska is no stranger to earthquakes or tsunamis. They've had 4 of them in the past. So this is what we're dealing with. This is actual information that we are getting right now. So this is the earthquake that we are talking about. It was at one point 8.2. They have downgraded to 7.9, 173 miles southeast of Chiniak, Alaska. The depth is 6 miles. And a 7.9 earthquake is strong, although Alaska's, the biggest earthquake that they've ever had was in 1964, and that one was their largest ever, measured at 9.2. So although this is a big earthquake, they have seen and experienced larger earthquakes. 130 lives were lost because of that earthquake and the tsunami. As you mentioned, we have tsunami watches and warnings all up and down the coast, from Alaska's coastline down towards British Columbia, extending all the way south towards Southern California. So this is an extensive tsunami watch that extends all the way down towards Los Angeles, getting information minute by minute. But as we look back in history, again, Alaska, no stranger to earthquakes or tsunami watches or warnings. This was their biggest one, 9.2 magnitude. That's talking about where they lost 131 lives. So when we talk about magnitude, 8 or higher is a great earthquake. Now that it has been downgraded to 7.9, that's a major earthquake. We don't know how high the waves are going to be, but people are urged to take caution and move to higher ground, especially along the Alaskan coast. So here's what we deal with in terms of magnitude. We only see a magnitude 8 or greater, an average of 1 a year. So right now it's 7.9. It's pretty rare, but we are along that ring of fire where they typically have earthquakes. So they are no stranger to earthquakes around Alaska, but to see a tsunami watch and warning extending as far south as California, Southern California, this is a big deal, and we're going to be following it minute by minute here in the Fox Extreme Weather Center. Back to you. We have tsunami all the way south.
You know, folks, hold on one second. I'm going to get back to this chart that she had up there. Just give me a second here. You know, right here, folks, this is what I mean. This initially came in as a magnitude 8.2. This would have put this earthquake in as a tie for this earthquake in November 1938. Because they downgraded this earthquake, it keeps it out of the top 5. That's just, I tell you what, I'm going to have to get off of this live stream right now because my temper is about ready to just go, I'm ready to go ballistic right now because this is a very serious situation with what I deal with. You know, the days of informing people of what is happening on this planet, that is important to me. I am so disgusted right now with the downgrading of this earthquake and the data that I just showed all of you from the seismic stations, and we did not even get through half of them. My God, what are they doing over there at the USGS? Government office, what do you expect, folks? More deception. Once again, you know, it's time that all of us, if you're following me on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page and my website and some others that are out there trying to gain the truth, we all need to band together and we need to keep on pushing forward to, you know, out these fakes. I hope the people at the USGS are listening to me because you people are nothing but slime. There was no way in hell that this earthquake averaged out to a magnitude 7.9. I don't care. All of the data is right there showing that it is probably over a magnitude 8.2. We saw the readings from numerous stations, numerous channels, and those channels, those are the reporting channels from these seismic devices. My God, there was one of them that was a magnitude 8.6. And you're going to go ahead and downgrade it to a magnitude 7.9 just to keep it out of the top 5 largest earthquakes in Alaska? I'm completely disgusted. I'm completely disgusted. I'm going to move over to one more map, folks, and then we're going to draw this live stream to an end, and I'm going to look into more further information on this. Well, here's your current earthquake swarm, right off the coast of this Kodiak Island. I mean, there's so many earthquakes as you pan out, they all just bunch up into one. Well, listen, folks, if anyone comes up with any additional information, do me a favor, real quick. Head over to the Planet X News Facebook page, and you're more than welcome to post the information. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description box, or not the description box, damn it, in the live chat. And if you're not following Planet X News on Facebook, folks, get over there and follow the Facebook page. There's a wealth of information that goes up on Planet X News on Facebook, just about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nonstop. A lot of the information that I've already compiled in one report is already up on the Planet X News website. Simply just click on the links. Takes you straight to the website. And, you know, you can quickly share the information. Bingo, right to social media. You can either copy the link, share it to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. You could email the link, whatever you need to do. You have access to doing all of that right there. And again, you know, all of the initial information that I gathered within 30 minutes of this earthquake striking all puts it at an 8.2. So this was the report that I published, probably about 45 minutes after this tsunami hit, or the earthquake hit. They were issuing tsunami warnings right off the bat. And then, bingo, they downgraded it to a 7.9. There's information here on the waves of what the tsunami would be traveling as far as speed and distance and the areas that it would cover. Wealth of information right here in this article. 45 minutes from the beginning of this event. This was posted immediately on the Planet X News website. I'll put a link in the description box real quick. Not the description box, the damn live chat. Sorry, folks. I'm a little pissed right now. And real quick, folks, before I end this live stream, I'm going to get into a bunch of this information. If any of you are interested in purchasing Planet X News t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, we have a new online store. We're going to be donating the money to feed the homeless. And all of the shirt designs are right here. Very, very easy to order. You have the Planet X News logo. Knowledge is power. You hear me talk about that all the time. We have the new chemtrail shirts, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs. Another new Planet X News, the Awakening design. There's a lot of different designs on here. We have one here for UFOs. We are not alone. The new shirt that came out, new design, Nemesis. Any of you are interested? This is my favorite design right here. I designed this yesterday. And this is the Proper Prepper Protection. Check it out. If you want to help support Planet X News and you want to help support our efforts to feed the homeless and feed the hungry, by all means, click on the link. Stop in at our online store. I'm going to go ahead and get you the link. The link is in the description box in all of our videos. You know what really got me going on this, folks, and you know, this isn't some big marketing ploy or money grab. You know, over the last couple of weeks, I continue to see these reports across the United States of groups being arrested and fined and ticketed for feeding homeless people. Just recently in Hollywood, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, they were arresting and ticketing people for, you know, having a heart and going out there and feeding homeless people that are just, you know, down on their luck. So how is it possible that you can write me a citation for giving someone food. My money, my food. If I want to give it to someone that is less fortunate, that is my damn business. So why are these communities, these cities, and these counties, because none of these are state laws, okay? These are county ordinances. They have them in California. They have them in Florida. Now they have them here in Pennsylvania. Well, you know what? I'm not going to stand for it, because whatever proceeds come in after 30 days from the online store, myself and Dr. Albers, we are going to make a stand, and we are going to go out there and we are going to feed people that are less fortunate. And if the law doesn't like it, they can stick it straight where the sun don't shine. Because the things that are happening in this country and on this planet, you know, folks, some of them are just so disgusting, I can't even talk about them on YouTube without, you know, getting my video flagged. There are horrendous and horrific things happening worldwide. And if we don't stand together, if we don't stand up and unite, they are just going to walk all over each and every one of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have it in your heart, and you know you wanna fly the flag, you want to bring attention to what's happening in our solar system, you want to bring attention to chemtrails all through our skies every single day around the world. If you want to bring attention to this, fly the flag, wear the shirt, drink your coffee out of that mug. And when someone asks you about your shirt, that gives you the platform to start that conversation and possibly even wake that person up. That is the reason why we have these shirts. And again, we are going to donate these proceeds, and myself and Dr. Albers, we are going to break these city ordinances, and we are going to go out there and we are going to feed the less fortunate. The hell with these city ordinances. It makes me sick to my stomach. Listen, folks, I'm a little bit too fired up right now to even be on this live stream. I can feel my blood pressure just pumping straight through my head because I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. So is Dr. Albers. We're not going to stand for this shit anymore. It is about time that each and every one of us stand together. If you don't want to be part of the movement, that's fine. Sit back, watch. But if you do want to be part of this movement, then get up off of your asses, share this information, share it all over social media, start talking about it, and fly the flag. Fly the flag. That's what I have to say right now, folks. Listen, I'm going to end this live stream because I have to dig into a bunch of this information on this earthquake. We'll probably have some more coverage later on. If any of you are gathering information on this, post it on the Planet X News Facebook page. Get it over there. We'll get it posted. And be part of this network, folks. Be part of this worldwide network. Because before too long, your rights as a human being, they're going to take them away. They're going to go bye-bye. And it's already happening. Look what they're doing with driver's licenses. Now, all of a sudden, you have to have a federal ID. Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany. I'm getting sick of it. And I'm sure that there are millions of other people on this planet that are getting sick of it. Don't be part of the problem, folks. Be part of the solution. Be part of the movement. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you very much for watching, and I'd also like to thank my my moderators. Thank you very much for helping out this morning. And folks, keep your eye to the sky and keep your ear to the pavement. Any new information pops up that you think is relevant, get it to me as fast as possible over on Planet X News on Facebook. You can inbox me a message. I will reply as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you soon.